Okay, so we are going to cover the new messaging feature in Team Builder. Now, this has been a revamp of the older messaging, and we have a lot to show you. So before I get into messaging, as you've seen me do with other videos, I'm going to quickly cover something that will make messaging more effective. And that's by going to Manage Users, and then looking into this thing called Groups. Now, if you know how to use Groups, then don't worry about this. But if you don't, Groups is the ability to group athletes or clients into groups in addition to calendars. So calendars are not always the best way of categorizing people. Groups are a great way to categorize people. And if you have messaging on for a group, it means that you can message within that group. If it's off, then that group does not matter. So let's go ahead and go to messaging by clicking this envelope icon at the top right. What we can do here is go ahead and create a new message. So when you create a message, you have to choose who your recipient is. You can choose an individual user, a group like we just talked about, a calendar, and then you can quickly do all athletes, all coaches, and all users, which would include all athletes and coaches in one group. So for this example, let's use a group and let's go ahead and click baseball. So anyone who's in the baseball group, since messaging is turned on, can receive a message. You then have to choose a conversation type. So the first is a group message. When you send a group message, it means that everyone sees it. And when someone replies, it's going to reply to everyone. So you're essentially creating a group message like you would on iMessage or WhatsApp. When you do individual messages, this is sending a message to everyone, but as an individual. So if they reply, it creates a one-to-one conversation. And the last thing is, if you want everyone to not be able to reply, you can click make conversation read only, and this would be like a one-way message or like an announcement. So in this case, it doesn't matter whether you do group or individual. It's just going to go ahead and mean that people cannot reply no matter what. Now, the three types of things you can send as a message would be a team builder message. Team Builder message is our internal messaging, and it actually sends a push notification out to each person's phone app. So this is the most prominent way of sending a message. You can also include it as a text and also include it as an email. Remember, there's no charge for sending a text or an email in addition to a message. It's included in your Team Builder subscription. Now, the next thing is going to be the compose screen. So when I go ahead and say this is a new message, I can go ahead and attach something like a video, an image, whatever you want. I can go ahead and schedule this message into the future if I want this to be sent at a later time, or I can go ahead and click submit to go ahead and send it now. So those are your two ways of sending messages, either now or later. So when you have a conversation open, it'll look something like this. So this is a message from a client that emailed the coach. The coach responds, and you can go ahead and just attach an emoticon right here. You could reply with a GIF, whatever you want to do. So if I want to send this back to Ryan, now I'm having a GIF conversation. So essentially, it's the same thing as before. Messaging is just improved now in a lot of ways in terms of how quickly you see new messages, the ability to create group versus individual messages, and then the ability to schedule in the future. And it's just much faster and better at notifying coaches also about receiving and sending new messages.